I have the ability to attach something to anything, anytime I want. And that, my friend, is freedom. But freedom comes with responsibility, right? And responsibility is the same thing, And so there's a pledge in specifically in AA called "I'm responsible," and I'm responsible to have my hand out for any alcoholic that's suffering, and for that I'm responsible, and for that I'm free. And that's really the byproduct that we want to talk about, like a selfish outcome. The selfish outcome is that we get to experience what it is to be free in our own existence, which is a magical place. And I just like I can't. It's so hard for me to understand how I forgot.
I just love the way these conversations are going with Ryan Bathgate these days. Of course, he's my weekly co-host. He's back on track. He's back in the program. And we're just killing it. This is a lot of organic, really good conversation. Hey, listen, today's episode is sponsored by the Yatra Trauma Center here in Krabi, Thailand, where I reside. For any of you that might be new to the platform, of course, my healing journey started in Thailand when I came to experience their 30-day residential treatment program. Completely changed my life in so many ways. I highly recommend them if you have some traumas that might be holding you back, including, keeping you suffering in addiction. And of course, it might be worth checking out. You might be surprised at the cost relative to other private pay options in North America. If you want to learn more about what Yatra is all about, if you go to the website, go to a2apodcast.com/trauma, you can check out Mike Miller. He's the head clinician there. He's come on a bunch of episodes. We've talked about all sorts of things, recovery, trauma therapy, and all the things. Of course, you can get their contact information there as well. And enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, watchers, listeners, supporters of all kinds. Welcome to another episode of the Ash is Awesome podcast. I'm your host, Chuck LaFlange. Actually, I'm Chris Horder, and I am in Krabi, Thailand. Halfway around the world is my good friend and co-host, Ryan Bathgate. How you doing today, Ryan?
Today's a good day, man. I don't know why. I got just another day, but like it's just like this process is really fascinating, to tell you the truth. Like it's like you forget about how formative the process is from all facets. Like biochemically, there's repairs happening within my synaptic gaps. And my dendrites are returning to form. In other words,
all right. So now we're going $20 word territory here, right? So yeah.
Okay.
Bring that back. Yeah.
Rewind. My brain's healing.
Yeah.
And I've lost 35 pounds in 6 weeks.
Wow.
So my target goal two years ago was 190, and I couldn't get below 200 forever. And yesterday morning, I stepped on the scale at 185. And that is
good for you, man.
Right? Like
good for
crazy.
You.
And then last night I fucking baseball, I hit a home run, turned a couple double plays, laid out for a ball, came up with it. Like just like all things fucking Millhouse, man. Coming up Millhouse. Just to quote Simpsons. So there's just like really what's the word I want to choose here? There is a powerful agent in transformation that is, and like we fear change as beings, and really the only permanent thing is change. You know what I mean? Like so, like we're always changing, but to go in. It's just like why did I take so long when I know how good it gets? You know what I mean? But that's also that like. Yeah. That fog, that veil that goes over our brain when we are, in our cups or in the midst of this imposter that is, the substance use disorder mind. And like,
no kidding. Eh?
So, but what happens is like we get a little taste of responsibility. That freedom starts to happen, and by responsibility, I mean like I am responsible to sobriety right now. And that includes, the maintenance part and the work part, because it just doesn't happen on its own. And like everything we have in our life takes maintenance or it disappears. Whether it's a car, whether it's a bike, whether it is this computer,
a relationship, your sobriety, your
relationship with others, but most importantly, the relationship within. And like that. I say the farthest distance is between your head and your heart. And and to have that synergize is just a feeling that is beyond the English language. It's just impossible to articulate.
That's
because
awesome.
It's like it is euphoric, but most of all, it's like I woke up today and it was like, you know what? Fuck, things are gonna be okay. Like
wow, Wow.
Things are
This
just
is a
gonna
big change since we got back to work together here, man. Like this is this is another version of Ryan. Right?
Yeah, like I don't have DID, okay? For those that don't know, DID is dissociative identity disorder.
Yeah, yeah,
And you know what? Actually, I had this. I was talking to my therapist, so I can
yeah.
I can reach confidence because there isn't any. And so we're talking about like it was like I was explaining about like the height of the worst, and how it was like I was in a blackout, and so it was very much like what I know of DID, which I've worked with in the past, and like it was like I went to sleep and I woke up in a jail cell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
with just like this like dream-like flashes of instances that happened along the way, and maybe 3 or 4 of them in the span of like 2 days.
No kidding,
so,
eh?
Yeah, and like
yeah.
and it is, so I feel like everything's gonna be okay, but it's so much better than that because like I woke up today not hating myself for the first time in a long time. Furthermore, I woke up today enjoying who I am, liking who I am, and I can say like it's been probably 7 years since I've had that feeling. You know, and that explains the slow process in the corrosion that leads to the need to cope, which is ultimately the relapse. And cunning, baffling, powerful. Geez.
And I think you just said cunning, baffling, powerful right at the right moment there. It's just that's the thing is you don't even realize that you're hating yourself.
No clue.
And so it's similar to, hey, we were just talking about the glasses, about my glasses here. And it's kind of the same thing though, right?
I don't need glasses.
You have no idea how bad. You don't know, but you're going to find out when you get yourself a pair of like $3 readers and see what happens. Like I have, right? You have no idea how bad things are until it's not bad. And then you go back and go,
it is all like,
right?
It's all hindsight's 20/20. But
it's going to be just an eye reference. The whole episode, right?
Hindsight. Yeah. Not 20/20 hindsight. Yeah. So man, like the world has opened up and to go from just like dreading what tomorrow's going to bring to like, hey, tomorrow might be fucking cool.
Right.
I'm gonna go sleep tonight, and when I get up tomorrow, it's gonna be fucking great. Like I haven't experienced that in a long time, and like I said, like you go, it's like this. The shift is really it's confidence to arrogance is what happened, and like the confidence came from maintaining a life that I enjoyed myself in. That and I like, I in those days, people looked up to me. People sought advice from me. I never had a dirty look. I never had a snide remark. And like those started to pick up, and especially in the last 3 months. But I mean, to be honest with you,
so the confidence turns into arrogant when
confidence turns into
complacent
arrogance.
with it.
No,
right?
The difference is love and fear. Confidence comes from love. Arrogance comes from fear. And so arrogance shows up when I start to feel like people are going to find out. Find out what? I don't know. And that's the fucking, that's the whole sticky part. It's like, that's why we don't see it, because it's not acute. It just slowly happens. And it's like, okay, so now I built up this image, and instead of having humility to go with ebbs and flows of life, it's like I got to maintain and keep reinforcing the optics of what is or what isn't but is, instead of being like, I'm having a bad day, I don't know, I don't have an answer for that, or I don't have capacity right now, things like that, like respecting myself, respecting my boundaries, respecting my mental health, my self-care, my all those things that just went down the toilet because I needed to keep this thing up. So that means answering every question with authority, whether I was right or wrong, or whether it was even fucking real or not, didn't matter. If I said it in a certain way, people would believe it. Because why wouldn't they? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I just need to be right about a couple things once in a while, and it has credibility. So,
Fuck's sakes. It's so wrong and so right at the same time.
It's
right?
it's reality, dude, and it's not just me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'll
No,
speak about-
that's right.
I will
Yeah,
speak
that's,
about me, but I mean,
Yeah.
if you're listening and you're having a look at yourself, take a look. Are you in confidence or are you in arrogance? Is it fear based or is it love based? Is it intrinsic or is it extrinsic? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the arrogance, the ego is all about what you think, not about what I think. And when I'm confident, it's like I love your opinion. I might take something from it, but I might not, and that's up to me.
Yeah, no kidding, right? No kidding. I want to talk more about confidence, Ryan. But before we do that, I want to just take a quick mention on our special sponsor for today's episode is FAR Canada. It's Families for Addiction Recovery. They are an organization a nonprofit organization in Canada who focuses on the family members of people who suffer an addiction. They do a really great job of it. They have peer support. They have a group therapy or a group community, I should call it, I guess. And you can also call them during business hours for some phone support as well. You can learn more about them at farcanada.org. Anyway, Ryan, sorry to interrupt, but hey, they're paying the way, right? So,
you know what? Forget about the money. What they're doing is it's so needed and it is like they're hitting a sector or a part of this fucking calamity that is substance use disorder, and attending to really an underserved population, which is families.
100%, right? And as you know, and we've hell, we can open up this topic a little bit too, right? As you know, right from the get-go, that's been one of my personal objectives, right? Is to help the families,
Yeah.
And again, underserved is if 10 people are affected by addiction, low arbitrary number, I pull out of my ass. But if 10 people are affected by every single person's addiction, then 10% of the resources are going to those people, right? So it's crazy. Like it's crazy.
Yeah,
right?
and like the amount of hours that I've spent on the phones with families is
right.
And it's from my experience, it's like I take for granted my knowledge of substance use disorder. I take for granted my knowledge of mental health because when I hear people that aren't familiar, it's like, okay, wow, okay, we got a long way to go here.
Right.
Like,
and it's easy to lose sight of that when you're just immersed in it all the time, right? It's easy. I know Sydney, the last episode we did was Sydney from FAR Canada, who's the person that will answer the phone 90% of the time if you call.
Mm-hmm.
That whole episode was based on the three most common things that she hears when a loved one calls in. I should say family member because it's not exclusionary to that, but when a loved one calls in, and the first thing always is anger, not at the disease, at the person, right? It's by far the most common thing, and she has to the behaviors, right?
The behaviors attached to the person, yeah. It's not.
Here's
the thing.
One of the things that she speaks about, and here's exactly why. She has to, one of her jobs, or one of the things that she's really good at, I should say, is moving people away from anger towards the person and moving it towards the behavior.
Yeah. And
right. Because once you do that, right, you've accomplished something, right? You know what I mean?
Yes. So, however, you cannot attend to the behavior. You don't fix the behavior, you fix the driver. You know what I mean? And so the behavior just becomes a manifestation of something deeper, and it's a hostile takeover. It's like I said, DID. Like
it's similar for sure. Yeah,
and like I said, 7 years since I've been me.
Yeah,
that's a long time to not notice.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it's not like up and down. It is a slow, gradual trajectory in a spiral down. There's no up. There's no reclamation of my existence. It doesn't happen until I get some space away from substance use. I get some time spent on the drivers of that substance use, typically trauma, or in my case, certainly, and also about the basics are like structure, consistency. That's safety. That's how we make safety in our life. So, I'm at the gym by 8:00. I go to the nooner. I
the nooner being a meeting, just so people, you and I know what you're talking about.
Sorry,
now,
right?
But
I don't know what it is. I love nooners. I think there's something less.
Every time
personal.
You say it, I'm like nooner, right?
and that's actually one of my best friends' name is Nooner.
Yeah, Jeff Nooner, right? Yeah,
my homeboy. By the way, I'm going to go deep into some arrogance here, and it's comical. Last night, I now can have a new moniker. I crush home runs, I turn double plays, and I lay out for fucking everything. Okay, that's what I do. That's how I play ball, and that's what I've been telling everybody on my team. Hit a home run. I had to try back. I hit a home run, I turned double play, and I laid out for one and came up with it.
That's pretty awesome, man. That's pretty awesome.
Honestly, 185 pounds, dude. What a difference. Yeah. What a difference, man.
I can't even begin to relate because I probably got I got a lot more than that on you. So yeah.
Well, I kind of conclude that
I'm working on it again now. So
you know what, dude? I got some tricks to talk to you after. It's not on air stuff. Yeah. But there is some consistencies. Anyways, what I'm saying here is like the structure is essential in my ability to navigate calamity. Okay? Calamity is chaos.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And as the shift happens, like you gotta remember, biochemically, I'm in reparation. Like, so my emotions are all over the place, especially my limbic system. At the point that I can relate
to that.
Yeah. And so this is starting to get a lot better in the way that I'm seeing the world, my ability to choose the lens I want to see the world through. Like I've gone through these struggles with resentment and really, like, I heard two things in the last week that really stuck with me. The first one was acceptance is always the answer.
Okay.
And I sat in that and tried to think about a scenario that acceptance wasn't the answer. And I couldn't come up with anything. It always ends up there, whether I fight it or not. I always end up at this place of acceptance for my own sanity. You know what I mean? The other thing I heard is that addiction is a nuclear orbit that devastates everyone in its path. Yeah, and so like we look at like the difference between being in the middle of substance use disorder and being on the healing end of that, and like the difference is like the amount of love is equal to the amount of hate.
So no doubt. And recovery community, right? I mean,
But I mean, I'm not hurting anyone right now. I'm enhancing. Yeah. Whereas 6 months ago, it was a very different story.
Of course. Yeah.
And like there's just no up until you're in solution, and to be in solution is really about one foot in front of the other. It doesn't matter what I think or feel; it's what I do. And that's what really matters at this point in my life right now. Because I mean, honestly, do I want to go to a meeting every day? No. I like them a lot more than I thought I would.
Fair enough.
And I do remember a time that I really enjoyed them. Now that I'm here, now that I'm in this space, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Like 1999, 2000, 2001, loved them. Again, 2010, 11, 12, loved them. But somewhere along the line, it's like I never did that 110% of knowing that I'm of substance use disorder. Like,
so come 2030, I'm gonna double back and hey, what's going on?
I'll tell you what. If 2030, I do it again, then I don't deserve to be around, man. Like, honestly, like, come on.
No, I'm saying that 7-year mark is where we make sure that it doesn't happen again. So we check back in, make sure you're still liking those meetings, and figure out why not if you aren't before it turns into something else again.
Well, yeah. Like if I'm 31 years at this and still making the same mistakes, like, just talk about insanity. Like,
many people, right? So
I don't see it. No matter what, call it whatever you want. I am that. I am, alcoholic, if you will. I do hold characteristics of strong addictive tendencies, and I still have a hard time identifying in that way. I think it's a stigma thing. There's something gross about. I'm an addict. I'll go to meetings. I'll play the game. Like I'm Ryan.
I still don't. I do not like it. I do not like it as a term. I find it's necessary because it's convenient and
sometimes
and it's in how you use it.
Yeah.
Right. Right. But an example. This is a conversation I had with Lisa. There's an American woman here in Krabi that I'll go for coffee with sometimes. A little bit older than me. She's yoga, whatever. She's funny. She's hilarious, actually. But so anyway, I was telling her about when my ex-wife, I was her third husband. So when she was getting divorced from her second husband, I was telling her about how I might have to sell my car, my Mustang, to pay for this lawyer. And it's like you had a race car. You're a drug addict. Boom. Ooh. I was like, you see, That's it right there.
Yeah.
Before I am anything, I am a drug addict. And she didn't mean it like insulting. It was completely ignorance in the not know way, not in the shitty person way, right?
Yeah, how did it land?
Yeah, well, for me, right? So like I spend my whole life talking about this stuff. For me, it was an opportunity to say, hey, no, that's the problem right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's not okay,
mm-hmm.
right? I told you something from 10 years ago, and the first thought is you're an addict, right? There's so much more to me. Like at that time, I was actually, I was managing a trucking company or a branch of a trucking company. I was doing quite well in my life, right? It was high
mm-hmm.
functioning. If I was using drugs, it was very, very little at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But first thing that comes to her mind. So it was just an opportunity for me to correct that language and let her know that that's not okay to view people like that.
Yeah,
but if honestly, I'm sitting here talking to you, it's like, yeah, I'm a fucking junkie. So it's a big double standard, right?
Yeah. I mean, like you'll never hear me use that term.
Yeah.
Personally,
fair enough. And really, I don't. It's.
No, I know.
I'm making a point of extremes here, right?
Yeah, and it is because we're immersed. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I just like I said, I take for granted the knowledge and experience that I have in this field. Like, and it really shows up when you hear things like that. And it's like, I'm not even mad at somebody like that. It's just they don't know.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You know
that's
what I
totally
mean?
what
like,
it was. Right. Yeah. Certainly. And I could have chosen to take that any which way. Right. But for me, it was just like, no, see, that's the thing is it's not okay. Right. To view people that way. Right. When,
I'm into baseball. Doesn't mean everyone has to be into baseball. Everyone has to understand that. And I don't know shit about dance. You know, so I would look like an idiot talking about dance.
I'm going to sidetrack on you for a second. My
Okay,
little brother Levi, for anybody that knows me, knows of Levi, he's one of the best human beings in the world. He just is, right? Okay. He's incapable of hurting and so capable of being hurt because he's just that person, right? Mm-hmm. So he's at the wedding with the same ex-wife, and he fucking bastard. He comes up to me and he says, can you get everybody to quiet down for a second? I made an interpretive dance for this. This is at the reception. I was like,
please say more.
Please
say more.
Just I was like, just go grab the microphone and say what you need to say, man. I don't know what to tell you. And I'm dying. Like I'm dying inside, right? Didn't think of it. I was pretty high and drunk at the time too. But anyway, just like go, whatever, man, do your thing. Yeah. So he gets up on stage and he says, so I made this interpretive dance. And then he's like, I'm just fucking with you. You guys come out back and see me. I got a fire dance to do for you. And he's got like this fire dance thing that he does, which like, and that's super, super cool. But what a guy, man.
Did he have a guy?
Yeah. No. I don't even know what interpretive dance is. Like, I'll be honest with you, right? So, yeah. But I was not looking forward to it. It sounded pretty, all right. Well, that's my brother for you.
I can't help but move into a state of judgment.
Of course. Hey, right. I mean, it starts with interpretive dance. It ends with wham, right? Like that's
no,
like,
no. Wake me up before you go.
It's an institution. It's an institution.
Man. Like, I'll give you a careless whisper. Huh? Father figure.
I can't title another episode on George Michael's, man. I can't do it. Yeah.
George
Funny,
Michael's
that episode's quite popular, actually. That one's doing quite well. So, yeah. Who would have thought? Right?
I probably got more guilty pleasures. I mean, you used to think Elton John was, but Elton John's cool shit. You know?
Oh, yeah.
But I remember being like 14, and one of my friends was getting bugged about liking Elton John, and I came in and I was like, Elton John's awesome. What are you talking about? Shut up. And then they all shut up. And he's like, thanks, man. I was like, no, I really like Elton John. Yellow Brick Road, man. You know, he's like, really? It's like, yeah, Elton John's awesome. Rocket Man, but come on.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like, how can come on, right? You know, so there's our critique of music for this week, folks. Yeah, right. Jeez.
So
anyway,
do you want?
Go ahead.
Do you want to circle back to? We kind of branched off of confidence, arrogance, and all that shit.
Yeah. So, kind of, what I wanted to mention was that episode with our mutual friend, of course, Jason McMillan. Jimmy Wednesday. I don't even know if we're allowed to call him that. Sorry, buddy, but we did it. So yeah. And we won't do the backstory on that. So
Devin's laughing in heaven right now.
I love Jason. We did that episode as a couple of episodes a week. You can see it on the website. Just look for Jason, right? Yeah.
Such a good interview. He's so good on the platform. Like
he is, right? He's just relatable, the most relatable
honest
person ever. Yeah, you know,
and like like
insightful, well spoken. You know, yeah.
He also brings vulnerability remorse to another level.
Yeah, recording remorse therapist. That's my part-time job. Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
it's just funny. You and I used to have those sessions post-recording, right? And that's, geez, I don't remember last time we had one of those. But it's funny, just about everybody that comes on will have
when I came back.
Okay, that's right too. Yes, yeah.
Like I thought I was going to be sick when I was in the gym listening to that. I was just like, oh my God, I really.
But how in your confidence there, this fits right in your community and in your people's. How was that received that you've heard? Because I know people in your life have listened to it or watched it, whatever, right? So,
not a bad thing.
No, not at all.
Courageous, relatable, vulnerable. All good things. But to me, I mean, I'm sitting there doing curls with the curl bar, and I'm just like, I almost dropped the thing, threw up when I started. It's got to come down. You got to break it down. You got to take it down. Yeah, but then you know what? Then I got a message from someone that was like, "Wow, that really, like, I'm there." They said, "I'm there."
Yeah,
and,
right.
I come in, talking about the slow corrosion of it all, like, early recovery, it's no joke. Long-term recovery ain't no fucking joke.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I look at all the things that I just thought were stupid. It's just like, why? Who cares? What does it hurt for me to believe in something? What does it hurt for me to do steps? What is it? Like, I'm all of a sudden better than that. Like, what the fuck happened to me?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Like, why not?
And I told you, I mentioned it in pre-record, but absolutely inspired to maybe work some steps here for the first time in my recovery.
Hey.
You know what I mean? Because of you, as a direct result of what you're going through right now, right?
Interesting.
And I mean, at this point in my life, I would be a much healthier person walking through the doors than I think a lot of people are when they do that, right? But why not?
Honestly,
why not?
You're not going to lose anything.
No, most certainly not, right? There's one group here that is once a week, and it's like a half an hour drive. Though I guess for my new place, it'll be like a 10-minute drive, so it'll be a big difference, right? But and of course, I could do them online with somebody too if I wanted to, right? But how the logistics of it, I'll figure out. I want to go check out this meeting when I move down there, so that's in 11 days. I'm moving, so.
Hey, I got something. Yeah. I got something.
What's that?
Bit of a squirrel. I did my first Zoom meeting last week ever.
How was that for you?
It was pretty cool, actually. Like, it's a group called the Grateful Eight, which is online at 8:00 Pacific Standard Time. And my sponsor actually runs a good dude. That guy go 13 years meeting every day, like, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, why not? Why not?
Yeah, no kidding. Right.
And it was cool. Like, it was really lighthearted and like fun. I don't know. Like, I thought it would be really, like, before this, before this renaissance, I thought they were stupid. Like, what, online, why? Well, because I'm afraid of something. Clearly, why would I not do something good for me? And it's like substance use disorder is just so quirky in that way that, like, if I have a fucking, if I get a cold, I take some antibiotics or something, I get better. If I have substance use disorder, I go to meetings and try to, believe in something and have attachment to something healthy. No. No, don't do that. No.
Right? Yeah.
No, right. Just sit alone and just do drugs until you die, and that's the answer.
And that's the addict brain, right? Yeah,
totally, man. And that's what I mean. Like, it was like the last at least 5 years has been me, this imposter. Like, it was like a hostile takeover of and like this version of me was just like dropping my values as I move along, just one by one by one. Honesty, integrity, vulnerability, authenticity, all of it gone by the time I hit the, my version of a bottom. And like, now I look at it and I'm like, how how could I ever take the chance of hurting my family? How could I ever fucking
Now
do
it
that?
seems so obvious, right? Because now you've got glasses on and everything seems so clear, right? But to go back to that, but it's true, right? You just don't, when you're in it, it's not the same thing. You don't have that mindset, right? You
No,
don't,
yeah.
you've been convinced different by your own brain that you're different. And it's just,
And
fuck,
you might,
man.
take this clip out and you can put it in your mandated treatment argument. Because I can't say that I made sound decisions. I made rational decisions. Actually, I really fucked my life up, to be honest with you. Like,
right.
And
hey, you went to jail for a weekend, whatever. It was mandated treatment, right? Like it's a version of it. You know what I mean? But really, you got pulled out of your shit, made to figure it out, and like, hey, either you do this or things are going to get really fucking bad for you, really fucking fast.
To be honest
right?
with you, it was mandated treatment because that was the bail condition.
Yeah.
So,
right? So there's different levels of mandated, different, there's a whole spectrum on that, right? But
that was the options were that or an APA, like, or a crime school, if you will.
Yeah, right. So there's something to be said for it, for sure.
Did I say that before? The first thing the guy said to me in there is, "Did you bring anything in?" I'm like, I'm just here to get out of here. Okay. Like grab your ankles, lift up, cough, like X-ray machine. You know what I mean?
Oh, like, so you were actually in the remand or whatever out there, right? That you weren't just at the RCMP station.
No, it's bullpen. Yeah, pre-trial. Yeah, there's guys in there. Pre-trial. Nicknamed bullpen.
Okay. So remand though is what we would call that here, or in Alberta, I guess, right? But yeah.
Okay. Pre-trial here. Yeah. So people that don't get bail go there.
Yeah.
Until their trial.
Okay. So I just had this picture of you sitting in like an RCMP shop or something, or
no, man.
City Police or whatever for the weekend, right?
No, I had my little TV in there and my metal bed of the cot, no pillow.
Yeah.
No pillows. My little jumpsuit, my three stripe Velcro shoes, and I have those, and I'm gonna frame them. You never fucking forget. You never forget, Ryan. Never forget what this does to you. Never forget. You know what I mean? And remember, for me to pick up a drink was a solution. And that's one thing I don't ever want to forget. Is that I was already gone before that moment. That was me coping, and my ability to cope when I'm clear-headed, when I'm on a plane of sobriety, my ability to cope is quite seamless. You know what I mean? Like, and where I'm at right now, it's like, I got just a lot of heavy shit going on, but it's gonna be okay. And like, that's a fucking miracle, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have stress today. Today, I'm not gonna talk about tomorrow because I don't know. It's unwritten. But today, I woke up without it. I went to a show, and I got the what's the word? The privilege of sharing today, and that was nice, in talking about a paradigm shift. Communities call it spiritual awakening, and that's typically as a result of steps. But I'm in this paradigm shift right now. I know that because A, I like who I am. B, I stand for what I believe in, like I do when I'm me. I have agency, I have autonomy, and I have the confidence to know who I am. I think I know when to stand up for what I believe in, and I also know to say when I'm wrong. And I don't want that to change. It will, but I don't want it to. And I'm going to work at maintaining that. And that means, this is I heard this probably my first home group in the 90s. A guy said to me, "You're in for the fight of your life for the rest of you," and that's hasn't been more true than it is today. And now it's like, I'm 110% sure that I have substance use disorder. 110%. There's no more back trapdoors. There's no more. Well, maybe, or I was young, or I was irresponsible, or fucking neural loop theory. Like, what a god.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So, and like maybe this is like a renaissance of confidence. I don't know, but
Maybe.
you know, I don't feel like the arrogance is anywhere near where it used to be.
It's not.
I don't. Yeah, well,
For what that's worth, it's not. I mean, you know, if you say so.
come on, it's part of my charm.
No, just ask yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. According to me, it's part of my charm. Yeah, like and it's all really because like I'm just trying to get out of the way. You know,
Yeah.
like I don't have to know everything. I don't have to fucking know anything. The only thing I need to know is that I have love in my heart, and that that my ability to be connectable is essential in my ability to be peaceful. And arrogance is ego, the great disconnect. Chuck C. Talk about a new pair of glasses. That's a really famous book written by a guy named Chuck Chamberlain that changed my life. In 2004, I think I got that because I had done a bunch of step fives. My sponsor at the time, he would buy this book with the big book in it, and it was a brown cover with a pair of gold glasses on it. And it was a talk given by a guy named Chuck Chamberlain in California in, I think, 1975. And it is phenomenal. Like, he literally is like, every day you wake up, you get to put on a new pair of glasses. You get to see the world any way you want. He's like, every day I wake up, I get to fall in love with my wife again. And I was just like, wow, it's beautiful, and that's where I want to be. Like, I want to be of love and in love, to quote Viktor Frankl, and that is a meaningful existence. And like, I can make meaning out of anything, and I do it all the time. I'm not in my office, but you know, like if you were to you know, this guy gave me a little rock, stupid rock, and I've had that rock for 17 years. And I haven't seen him for a long time, but that rock means something to me, you know. And I have the ability to attach something to anything, anytime I want.
Of course you do. Yeah.
And that, my friend, is freedom.
Yeah.
But freedom comes with responsibility, right? And responsibility, they're the same thing, you know. And so there's a pledge in specifically in AA called "I'm responsible," and I'm responsible to have my hand up for any alcoholic that's suffering, and for that I'm responsible, and for that I'm free. And that's really the byproduct that, you know, we want to talk about, like a selfish outcome. The selfish outcome is that we get to experience what it is to be free in our own existence, which is a fucking magical place. And I just like I can't it's so hard for me to understand how I forgot how great that is. Like, talk about like cutting back being powerful. Like it takes that and like makes it like, no, it didn't really happen. But remember that time you were right? Remember that, you know, remember that time you sounded smarter than everybody? Yeah, that's what you want. Yeah. Everybody loves you. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Well, that's fucking, it's reality.
Bang on,
man.
right? Bang on.
Yeah, and you know, like, and you couldn't tell me that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's like, that part is one of my biggest challenges is being so fucking difficult.
It's being so what?
Difficult.
Oh yeah.
You nobody can tell me anything. Nobody can, you know what I mean? Like,
I know what you mean.
and like, if you tell me a fact, I'll just one up you. You know what I mean? Or I'll say it back. I'll say it back to you in $20 words, and you'd feel like an idiot. You know, like,
maybe.
You know.
Yeah, if you say so. Yeah. I guess, right?
Never experienced that before.
No, never, right? No.
Yeah,
I think literally half of our last 10 conversations before your life blew up would pretty much that describes it. So yeah,
right? Yeah. And you know, if you look at that anthology, you can really see the corrosion. I mean, in one year
outside of you, right? Yeah, out like, and of course with hindsight.
Yeah,
so it's no better than like I didn't notice from A to B or from A to Z as it was happening.
No,
right? I didn't see B, C, D, and E. Because of course that last year is accelerated. Your timeline is much longer than that. But for me, I was there for a year of it, right?
Yeah.
I didn't see it happening, but with the benefit of hindsight, I sure saw it happening. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. You know, like, only with the benefit of hindsight, right?
I look back and I'm like, who the fuck was that? You know, like, like poor Marina, man. She's a saint. You know.
I can only imagine. Like, but for her too.
No.
I
but
wonder.
Like, well, think about it.
Right?
She got we got together, and I met her at my 5-year cake.
Yeah.
You know, so she got, and then the next 5 years was sober. But I'm gonna say 2 of those years. I mean, you know, I was probably on the arrogance train already. I was probably fucking choo-choo in a way. At that point, so she hasn't got to experience this version. which is it sucks.
Yeah.
But like I said,
Things will go the way they go, right?
Everything's
But
gonna be all right.
I mean, for someone that's closest to you, and in this case, it would be your wife, right? But is that where, like, does she see it happening, or is it this? Does she double back? Same as me. Does she double back and go, yeah, now I see it happened, right? Or she's going to get glimpses of it, of course, like nobody else in the world would, so it'd be a bit of a different timeline. But at the same time, is it this shit? When did he become a liar? Right? You know what I mean? Like, when did that happen?
To be honest with you, I can't answer that.
No, of course not. Of course not. No, right?
Because I have to ask her.
And that's just a curiosity thing for me. Is like, for somebody that's that close. I've never had somebody that close to me through that kind of timeline, right?
Yeah,
so who's to say?
I'm sure.
Right?
I'm sure. And, it's not... Everything I'm doing right now has, I know who she is.
Yeah.
And I know that she has a massive heart and is extremely understanding. I think she might be the best human being that I know, to be honest with you. Like,
yeah, right.
Myself aside, of course. Just kidding. Yeah. That could help. Yeah, no, she really is. Like, even, that if that 10 years is all I get, then it's not shit. It's been the best 10 years, like,
yeah.
And like, she makes incredibly beautiful children.
She's good breeders.
Oh yeah. She's a breeder. Yeah.
I used to have this guy that I'd go to the bar with, and you'd see one walking by. Tell your parents to make some more.
I thought of something I used to yell that I can't say it here.
Probably don't do that. Yeah.
No, definitely. It's a family program.
Yeah.
Program.
Literally now, of course.
What
that's all kind of changed a little bit too. Sponsors being what they are, I've had to temper my own.
Yeah, I guess you should
proclivity to off-color humor, I guess, if we're going to say that, right?
Well, man, what everyone doesn't know is the stuff that you send me, just me. And even sometimes you're even like, I wish you could post this. And I'm going to leave it there.
When I posted that one to the big magnifying glass thing, looking for my defects of character, right?
That's funny.
Chantel from Trap House Testimony says, what was her response? Did you find any? Because I got screenshots.
No, trying to burn them with the fucking magnifying glass in the sun.
Right.
Start a fire. Like, you know what, dude? Like, life is a fucking gift, man. It is this just crazy venture. Like, we all go through this just really hard stuff at some point, and like, it turns out to be some of the most valuable, fertile ground that we'll ever experience. And like, and I'm kind of at a place that, like, there is so much to learn from this experience. There's just like, it without a doubt, I'm going to say, like, an hour of my life changed everything, and it was fucking awful. Absolutely awful. And I would not wish it on anybody. And not, it was awful for everyone at my hand, and so, but what I get from that is, I got to wake up today feeling like I'm okay somehow, and somehow, again, like, the power of fucking resiliency is the greatest phenomenon in the fucking universe, in my opinion. And like, our ability to keep going, and it all comes down to that same fucking thing. It's all the medium and the connection and transaction of love, and that's what carries us, and it evolves us, because it's not thoughts. Our thoughts are disconnectable, like, thought is not relatable, but a feeling is, and like, and especially when it comes from the center, that fucking pure spirit in that love transaction. It's just like, like, I think of my kids, and it's just like, I didn't know that I could be so afraid of something and love something so much at the same time, like, and to be honest with you, like, one of the things that I've learned in this period is, like, I don't gotta fear love anymore. All that's gonna do is cause pain. And that's all it's done. And like, I was afraid to be a father, because I didn't know how, and I didn't I didn't have a lot to draw on, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And so that scared me. And I think that created a distance. Like, I'd be in the room, but I wouldn't be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so what a disservice to those two beautiful little kids, that they didn't get a choice. They ended up with me,
Yeah.
And now I'm like, fuck, I got a responsibility. I got a responsibility to give these kids the best life I can. It be what, like I said, if me wearing a pink tutu and a backwards thong with a camel toe is going to make my girl's life better, I'm going to do that. right down Main Street. I'll go to Hastings and Maine. I'd pretty fit in there. I'll go right down in North Vancouver. How's that?
No kidding. Eh? Yeah.
Why not? What do I care? What and anybody like I honestly, it's just like I'm living in this space that you got to earn the right for me to care what you think, and I'm really there. And going through this is like shit. You find out who your friends are, man. Like,
True story.
I can. I'm gonna go right at it and say I want to talk about one guy. I got a friend. Yep. His name is Chris McLeod. Yep. His nickname is Christmas Cloud because that was a funny thing that happened not on pure air. And this guy's been there without a doubt. No judgment, support, calls every day, checks in, listens. Like, God, like I want to be a friend like that to somebody. You know what I mean? Like,
no kidding, eh?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, so you talk about Jeff Noon, boom, he's there right away. Bam, like whatever you need. How do I help? How do I? Well, like fuck, and so that's what you really. It's just like the people that matter show up and show me why they matter. And so those guys they have an opinion. I'm going to hear it, good or bad. I'm going to hear it. They've earned it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Right. And they got something to say. I'm going to hear it. But someone, I was shaking hands in a line for baseball, and someone said something. I didn't hear it, but McLeod did, and he's like, I'm not going to tell Ryan about that. That person doesn't matter. So he tells me. Right. He told me about it. He told me about it today. That was like months ago, right? And I was like, yeah, that's a good friend, because I probably would have fucking lost it.
Yeah, right. Especially at the time when you're not, your best self. Right?
It was raw. It was very raw. Like a week later. Yeah. And
So,
and I can't guarantee anyone's safety in that moment. So he made a good call. He told me what today, and he was like, yeah, but that person doesn't matter. And I was like, yeah, totally. Exactly. Has not earned a fucking anything in my life.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Hey, listen, I'd like to get into daily gratitudes, right? You've already listed off a bunch of gratitudes, right? So I know the time does fly. And to save myself cutting something in after the fact, daily gratitudes are brought to you by AARC. It's our new sponsor. By our new sponsor. That's AARC. That's the Alberta Adolescent Recovery Center. Of course, in Alberta. They focus on the entire family. They have a peer support model that is absolutely unique beyond any. It's different than anything I've ever heard of. This Saturday, we're doing an entire episode with their executive director, Dr. Voss, and of course their public relations person, communications person, Kiara Brady. Absolutely amazing organization what they're doing there. So if you are in Canada and you have a team that's struggling, they might just be a solution for you. Give them a shout. You can learn more about them at AARC. That's AARC.ab.ca. So
I'd like to learn more about that peer support model somehow.
It's man. It is unbelievable. And you can learn more by watching the episode, but we can certainly talk about that as well. So
yeah.
What you got for some daily gratitudes, buddy?
Nooner McLeod. Fucking love you guys. Jimmy too. Like Jimmy, I got to throw Jimmy in there. Jason, he's been just awesome. Like Stacy, like just so many. I'm very fortunate.
No kidding, eh?
Yeah, I got people that believe in me when I can't believe in myself.
Yeah.
Like, and that is nothing short of a fucking gift and a miracle. Like, I'm so grateful for the people around me. And yourself, of course, Dr. Rock, Don, great, just a great guy. Pete, he just, I don't have words, man. Like, people, it's in the shit that you find out who you are, you find out who other people are, and like, the people that have shown up is just like, I hope that there's a time in my life that I can be there for them somehow. Like,
Yeah, no kidding.
I want the opportunity. I'm grateful for this chance. I'm grateful for the life I've been given and the chance I have to reclaim it and make something of it, especially for my beautiful family, which is my last gratitude. I'd like to include Rita, Marina's mother, in that. She's amazing. Yeah.
She's a
and
big
huge
supporter of the show as well.
Yeah, huge supporter.
Yeah, she is. Yeah,
But,
I see her all over the place in the comments. I just love it. I love
she
it.
has
And I had an idea who she was before the last episode we did together, but now that I know who she is, it's like I just like this little, oh, cool, there she is again, right? So thank you, Rita.
She is a beautiful soul, and she embodies love and kindness. Like it's amazing to me.
That's awesome.
So that's I could go on,
awesome.
But
I know you could. I'm gonna keep mine simple this time. It's to Sunny, my dog. I found this, over the last month or so, a couple months even, the walks have gotten shorter and less frequent. I've been putting on weight, and then I was looking at him about a week ago. I was just like, man, like I can't do what's this? So he's a driver for me, right? Like he's just to get out there, and so I'm back up to twice a day, and back, making sure that I'm doing my end for him.
Oh, and what do you know? It's working for you too. Weird.
Yeah, go figure, right? Go figure. I'm also grateful to every single person who continues to watch, comment, share, like, talk about all those things. Smash the buttons, because every time you do those things, you're getting me a little bit closer to living my best life. My best life is to make a humble living, spreading the message, and the message is this. If you're in active addiction right now, today could be the day. Today could be the day that you start a lifelong journey. Reach out to a friend, reach out to a family member, call into church, go to a meeting, pray. I don't care. Do whatever it is you got to do to get that journey started. It's so much better than the alternative. If you have a loved one who's suffering an addiction right now, who's taking the time to listen to us talk, if you just take one more minute out of your day and text that person, let them know they are loved. Use the words,
"You are loved."
That little glimmer of hope just might be the thing that brings them back.